Hi, welcome to Take a Break, Take a Breath for Wednesday, July 19th. I'm Rick Boyer, the pastor of Prospect Presbyterian Church in Maplewood, New Jersey. And Take a Break, Take a Breath is an invitation to do exactly that, to just take a break in your day and breathe, for maybe 10 or 15 minutes to center yourself in God who made you and loves you and calls you by name. You might be seeing a little bit of Harvey today. He's my dog. He's sitting in my lap from time to time. Each time we come together, we offer a few reflections on a reading from the scriptures, and we've been reading our way through the Gospel of Luke. And we are on Luke 14, 7 to 14. And then I will take you through some relaxation exercises, and finally finish with a time of prayer, and we'll use that guided meditation time to lead us into prayer based on that scripture reading. In this passage from Luke, it's continuing at a banquet. The banquet has been at a Pharisee's house, and the first question that came up was, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? But now in this reading, Jesus notices how the guests are being seated, and it leads him to teach or to comment on the social customs of how people choose their seats, and the social customs of how hosts act, and goes after the reciprocal nature of what our relationships are like. They are always, or not always, but often transactional rather than rooted in generosity. Some commentators go at this passage and critique it because they believe Luke is not recognizing the generosity of people who are poor, and talk about those who have gone on trips to countries where they don't have much, and the hosts in those countries have pooled all of their resources into one just to provide a special banquet for their guest. I get that critique, but it's also a challenge to think about all of these things. Jesus is reacting to a particular time and place. So if you haven't already done so, I invite you to go to a quiet place in your house and or outside, settle into a chair or something that is comfortable. Allow yourself to feel the strength and support of whatever it is. If you're in a room, close the door to the room and just close your eyes and breathe. And as you breathe in the breath of life. And as you breathe out all that does not give you life. As you breathe in God's peace. And as you breathe out all that does not give you peace. As you breathe in the presence of God. The life-giving, peaceful, graceful presence of God. Breathe out everything that disturbs that peace and grace. All your worries, your fears, your anxieties, all the things that disturb you. Keep breathing deeply. And allow the presence of God to grow. Experience it in all of your body, in all of who you are. And since we're starting into a heat wave, let's imagine it like cool water, maybe the water on a beach, that as it comes and lands on our feet, it brings refreshment to our feet. And even though it's hitting our feet, our face smiles. And then as you move further into the waves, the refreshment is on your calves, and then your thighs, and the Spirit of God brings relaxation to your calves and your thighs and renews them. Now you find yourself in water up to your waist, and it relaxes the muscles around your hips. And then the refreshment of God's Spirit comes, and it is up to just under your arms. And with that, your stomach relaxes, and the agitations that are in your stomach are calming down, being washed away. Your breathing stays nice and deep and steady. Your heart rate slows to a calm and resting pace. The muscles in your back relax, and the pains that are there, the tensions that might be there, are relaxed and washed away. You allow your shoulders and your arms to be covered by the presence of God's refreshing Spirit. Your shoulders relax, the tension in your shoulders goes away, and maybe if they've been hunched up, you drop them down. Your arms float freely in the presence of God's refreshing Spirit. Your hands open up to receive God's grace. And then the water comes up to your chin, and the refreshment of God's Spirit washes away the tensions in your neck. And then you dip your whole head under. You come up out of the water totally refreshed and smiling, maybe even laughing. Your brow relaxes, the muscles around your eyes relax, the muscles in your jaw relax, your mind is calm. All the worries for at least a little while are washed away. They float away in the water. And you are immersed in the refreshing presence of God's Spirit. And then in your mind's eye, go back to an ancient house, a Pharisee's house in the days of Jesus. They're all choosing their seats, Jesus and his disciples and all of the invited guests of this fairly well-to-do man. They've had the discussion about if it's lawful to heal someone, and Jesus does anyway on the Sabbath. And now Jesus watches as people choose their seats. And he says with a smile, maybe, you know, when you're invited as a guest to a house, don't choose the seat of highest importance. Because maybe the host will come and say to you, no, I'm sorry, that seat is reserved for another. And then you'll be embarrassed and have to take a lower seat. Instead, pick a seat that is at the low end. And then perhaps the host will come and say, no, you should be up here. Everyone who exalts themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And then he looks at the host and looks at the guests and says, and when you host a party, a banquet, invite those who can invite you. Don't think about, well, I'll invite this person and this person and this person because they've invited me, or because they will invite me, I know they will. Instead, invite the lame and the blind and the crippled and the poor, who can't repay you with a banquet, for that will be the greater joy, to give to others without expecting anything in return. As you watch this, you're kind of amazed at what's happening. And you think about how Jesus is flipping everything. Don't lift yourself up, but humble yourself. Don't give expecting, don't make your relationships transactional. Who are the poor and those who are broken and hurt that need to be included for you in your life at this time? You find yourself in a place where you and Jesus can talk. You can talk about what he said at this time in the banquet, and you can talk with him about those who you would hold up in prayer, those who need the presence of Jesus and the grace of God in their lives. I'll be quiet now while the two of you talk. And then the time for the conversation to end comes, and you can just hit pause if it's not enough time, or you can always come back to this place and this conversation with Jesus whenever you want. So you end it in whatever way is appropriate, and you allow that image to fade away, and you bring yourself back to the place where you are. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Well, let's take a break, take a breath for Wednesday, what is it, July 19th? No, I don't even know the date. Yeah, Wednesday, July 19th. If you have feedback for me, or if you want to talk or pray, send me an email and we'll make arrangements to talk and pray together real soon.